Hi guys! So we are going to start off. We have a short 4-pager motion in limine. This was filed for Rodalius Ryan. We're going to get through it. I do have the court feed up and we'll be able to toggle over. This was filed yesterday in the morning at 11:36, and I thought it was really interesting. So Rodalius Ryan's motion in limine number 2 regarding count 1, Act 79. Comes now Rodalius Ryan, and just as context, Rodalius Ryan is the one that looks really young because he is really young. By and through his counsels of record, and files this motion in limine regarding count 1, Act 79, in the above styled case, to exclude autopsy photos of decedent Jamari Holmes, on the basis of relevancy, materiality, waste of time, and their probative value being outweighed by unfair prejudice to Ryan. Now listen to this line. Ryan appreciates that his sole role in the present case is to cause the jury to be inflamed and unduly prejudiced against the other defendants because of his role, his convicted role. He's already been convicted for this in the murder of Jamari Holmes. Think about that line and how this motion is coming in by Rodalius Ryan, and it's giving a nod to his co-defendants. Like, I'm here to inflame the jury against these other 5. Nevertheless, the court should not sanction this strategic move by the state by allowing in graphic autopsy photos of Holmes. In support of this motion, Mr. Ryan shows this honorable court the following. 1. Mr. Ryan maintains his innocence on all allegations being brought against him. 2. In count 1, Act 79 of the re-indictment, Mr. Ryan is charged with the murder of Jamari Holmes. There is no dispute that Mr. Ryan was convicted of this murder in October 2021. If all autopsy photos are excluded, Mr. Ryan will stipulate that the decedent's cause of death is a bullet that was found in the decedent's brain. Out of an abundance of caution, to protect the rights of Mr. Ryan and to not delay the efficient flow of this trial, Mr. Ryan brings this motion. They're saying, I was convicted, we'll stipulate to it. So you don't need to bring in evidence to talk about how Ryan did this thing. 3. In Venturino v. State, 306 GA 391, the Supreme Court of Georgia relied on OCGA 24-4-401-403. Shout out to Rule 403. You guys were in love with the 403 rules of evidence yesterday. In determining whether to allow the admission of autopsy photographs, the probative value of the photographs are clearly outweighed by their unfair prejudice. In addition, as the photos are a waste of time, the court is authorized to exclude the photographs. The autopsy photographs are graphic in nature and unfairly prejudicial, as they depict a bullet lodged into the brain of Mr. Jamari Holmes. Ryan has already been convicted of this murder. There is no need to prove that Mr. Holmes was killed by a bullet to the brain yet again, particularly where Mr. Ryan will stipulate to this fact. Mr. Ryan's count is not murder, but racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations, known as Rico henceforth. Autopsy photographs are not relevant to prove whether a murder was committed to further a conspiracy. The only purpose of admitting these photos would be to unfairly prejudice Mr. Ryan and the other defendants. The state's second purpose in showing these graphic photos is to inflame the passion of the jury. In Venturino, the Georgia Supreme Court cited to Pike v. State, the exclusion of relevant evidence under Rule 403 is an extraordinary remedy that should be used only sparingly. This is the exact type of situation that would require an extraordinary remedy. In this present case, the state only has to show the motive for this murder, not the cause or manner of death of the victim. These photographs are not needed for the state to allege that this murder was to further an alleged conspiracy of the alleged YSL gang. In Rucker v. State, the Supreme Court of Georgia held that pre-incision photos such as the ones currently at issue, which depict the location and nature of the victim's wounds, are admissible because they are relevant and material. But in the current case, the pre-incision photographs are not relevant or material because the location and nature of the victim's wounds does not speak to whether this murder was committed to further the conspiracy. So it's not related to the elements. The purpose of these photographs is to inflame the jury and prejudice Mr. Ryan. The present case differs from Bradley v. State, where the court held that the photographs at issue were relevant to the issue of whether the state proved that the shooting of the victim, twice in the head, was caused by Johnson with malice aforethought. Bradley v. State, that's from Bradley v. State. In the present case, the state does not have to prove the cause or manner of death. only that this murder was done to further the conspiracy. In conclusion, the state is only seeking to include the autopsy photos to prejudice the jury against Ryan and the other defendants. The photographs are not relevant to address the issue of whether this murder was committed to further the conspiracy. Like, just drilling it home. The jury has already heard that Mr. Ryan has been convicted of the murder of Mr. Holmes, and therefore is not wondering why Mr. Holmes is not present to testify. These photographs are not material to the relevant issue of furthering the conspiracy. Mr. Ryan moves this court to grant this motion to exclude autopsy photographs, and wherefore Mr. Ryan respectfully requests this court to grant the above requested relief. And again, this was yesterday. And then Angela DeWilliams and Leah Abbasi. So there we go. We looked at